Like you, like 170 million other Americans today, I woke up to this. Sorry, TikTok isn't available right now. We are fortunate that President Trump has indicated that he will work with us on a solution to reinstate TikTok once he takes office. Please stay tuned. Yay! Donald Trump. Yay, President Trump. Please save TikTok. Oh my gosh. Kill me now. We'll get to that. First, I want to hear some wise words from my Secretary of State, because after all, this is in the interest of national security. Am I right? We all care about national security. Let's listen to what Marco Rubio has to say.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about. I can just tell you that a con artist is about to take over the Republican Party and the conservative movement, and we have to put a stop to it. And part of it is, look at the report you guys just did. Donald Trump last night had no answers on the issue of health care, and if you listen to that report that just led into this, the media is pumping him up as some sort of unstoppable force. Donald Trump has portrayed himself now consistently as fighting for the working people, and he has a record of sticking it to working people for 35 years. If any other candidate in this race had his record, there would be nonstop reporting on it. But unfortunately, he's being pumped up because many in the media with a bias know that he'll be easy to beat in a general election. So we're going to put a stop to it now. There is no way we are going to allow a con artist to take over the conservative movement, and Donald Trump is a con artist. There is no way we are going to allow a con artist to take over the conservative movement, and Donald Trump is a con artist.
Just one more time.
There is no way we are going to allow a con artist to take over the conservative movement, and Donald Trump is a con artist.
Okay, just so we have that for the record. Just so we have that for the record. I love that there's all of these clips of Marco Rubio, like, making jokes about the fact that Donald Trump, like, pisses himself, or making small dick jokes about Donald Trump, or the fact that, like, Ted Cruz is, like, shitting on him for calling his wife ugly. Like, I love that all of these clips are out there, that they all exist, because it just really outlines their spinelessness. This is Marco Rubio in 2019, okay, writing to the Secretary of Treasury saying, I write to express concern with regard to Chinese influence operations, including by the social media network TikTok. Given the Chinese government and Communist Party's efforts to block content and undermine U.S. values, I urge that CFIUS, the Committee of Foreign Investment in the United States, launch a full and thorough national security review of TikTok's acquisition of Musical.ly. I appreciate your attention to this important matter. Look forward to your response. Listen, this wasn't a Joe Biden-led effort to ban TikTok, okay? If anything, it was a Republican-led effort. Marco Rubio was one of the first, if not the first, trailblazer in the Senate advocating for investigations into TikTok. Why? Because Marco Rubio is super, super anti-communist. That's like his whole thing. Out of Trump's entire cabinet, I'm gonna say I would place my bets with Marco Rubio. Listen, I say that hesitantly because it's like, if I have a room full of like alcoholics, like I'm not gonna drive home with any of them, right? Like I don't trust any of them to drive me home sober. But like if I had to pick one, if I had to take my chances with one, it would be Marco Rubio, because he's been talking his entire political career about his upbringing, being from a Cuban family, seeing the communist regime. His whole thing is going against that. His whole thing is foreign relations. Secretary of State is like a beautiful position for him. We don't have a Kash Patel situation where the person in charge of the department wants to get rid of the department, or a Linda McMahon situation where the person in charge of the department wants to get rid of the department. Okay, we have a good, competent person here. Okay, and listen, like he didn't come to this conclusion on his own, right? This is in 2019. This is after we've had reports of TikTok banning or censoring different efforts of democracy in Hong Kong, or not showing the Tiananmen Square riots, like stuff like that, right? We don't want China to be influencing the algorithms of American citizens. That's not a good thing. We don't want Russia to be doing that. We don't want Iran to be doing that. We don't want North Korea to be doing that. We don't want any foreign adversary to be doing that. And so it makes sense that when you're presented with evidence that a foreign adversary is influencing the algorithms of the US, that you would then want to launch an investigation. It was a bipartisan bill that banned TikTok, okay? The reason why I'm emphasizing this so heavily back in 2019 is because Donald Trump himself wanted to ban TikTok. For some reason, we all forget this. Executive order on addressing the threat posed by TikTok. I, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States, find that additional steps must be taken to deal with the national emergency with respect to the information and communications technology services supply chain declared in executive order, blah, 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 blah. At this time, action must be taken to address the threat posed by one mobile application in particular. Mr. President, I agree. Listen, I don't want foreign adversaries influencing my algorithms. If we're worried about national security, I'm worried about national security too. This data collection threatens to allow the Chinese Communist Party access to Americans' personal and proprietary information. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, these risks are real. Then the United States must take aggressive action against the owners of TikTok to protect national security. Marco Rubio, what do you have to say about this?
If we stay on the road we're on right now, in less than 10 years, virtually everything that matters to us in life will depend on whether China will allow us to have it or not. Everything from the blood pressure medicine we take to what movies we get to watch, and everything in between, we will depend on China for it. So if we don't change course, we are going to live in a world where much of what matters to us on a daily basis, from our security to our health, will be dependent on whether the Chinese allow us to have it or not. That's an unacceptable outcome.
You know, I hear a lot of echoing from Mr. Rubio over here to Donald Trump over here to Mr. Rubio over here. It sounds very consistent, right? Which is why I'm really confused that now all of a sudden Trump is gonna save TikTok? Come on. What a joke. Donald Trump doesn't give a fuck about the national security risks that TikTok poses, okay? We know. Are you kidding? What a joke that Donald Trump cares about our national security when he's putting in Tulsi Gabbard, a Russian megaphone, as DNI. As Director of National Intelligence, as the highest ranking security clearance officer. No shit, he doesn't care about national security, okay? But if you're gonna use all of this strong language, right? If you're gonna write an entire executive order, I, Donald J. Trump, put your name all over it. This is a real risk. This is something that people should be concerned about. I order the following for national security, and I've heard absolutely no evidence. I see no evidence. There's nothing here that says that, oh, now we have assurance from China that they're not using their algorithm to censor anything. Literally nothing has changed. Nothing has changed except for now maybe Kevin O'Leary's gonna buy it. Like, nothing has changed. And that's a lie. Not nothing has changed. One thing has changed. In 2020, I don't think Donald Trump had the foresight, the knowledge to understand how useful having an entire social media platform is. And I think that that's why he didn't care about Mark Zuckerberg or anyone as much as he did these past 4 years. Because in experiencing X, in getting his own platform that is literally catered to everything in his Truth Social, he has become accustomed to this echo chamber of things. And the way that I see it is now Donald Trump has Zuckerberg in his hand, so he has Facebook, he has WhatsApp, he has Instagram. If he's the one that can save TikTok after the mean, bad, nasty, ruining free speech Joe Biden wants to ban it, are you kidding me? That in combination with his love letters to President Xi, are you kidding me? Are we not worried about the national security risk anymore? What happened? What happened? Mr. Rubio! Mr. Rubio!
We are going to live in a world where much of what matters to us on a daily basis, from our security to our health, will be dependent on whether the Chinese...
Mr. Rubio, please tell me you're going to do something about this. Please. Like, what a cuck. What a fucking cuck. Okay, he goes on and on. We're not going to let the GOP get taken over by conservative... What a cuck, okay? He goes on and on. We're not going to let the GOP get taken over by a con artist. We're not going to let it get taken over by a con artist. And then what do? You join the fucking con. You join the con, you bend the knee. Do you even believe what you're saying? It doesn't sound like you... Like, this sounds genuine. This sounds real. And I guarantee that the second that Donald Trump enters that room and is like, no, we're going to ban TikTok, all of a sudden, China doesn't pose a security threat anymore. All of a sudden, now we don't care about any of that anymore. It's only what Donald Trump wants. This isn't the first time that he's like completely flip-flopped on an issue just to advance his political career, okay? Do you remember when he was a fucking Democrat? Number one? Like he wouldn't have won as a Democrat. That's why he switched to Republican. Do you remember when he was pro-choice for like 65 years of his life? Until like that last final year, now all of a sudden he's pro-life. Now all of a sudden he's the most pro-life president ever. Do you remember when he went on Howard Stern and he said, I'm for the war in Iraq. I mean, we could have done a little differently, but I'm for it. And then all of a sudden it's no, I was never, ever, ever supportive of it. I never thought that we should go in. Are you telling me that if, let's say hypothetically, like Iran were to just like bomb the Statue of Liberty right now, or even better, Trump Tower You're telling me that Donald Trump would go to war? It's a joke. It's a joke. He wants to go to war with Mexico over a fucking trade deficit. You're gonna tell me that he wouldn't go to war if someone fucking bombed a monument, a national monument? But that's all he does. All he does is just grift. He has a fucking meme coin right now. I don't know anything about crypto. I'm not qualified to speak on that. But like, imagine if Joe Biden had released the meme coin. Just that sentence. Just imagine if Joe Biden released the meme coin. Republicans would have put him on involuntary psychiatric hold. They would have committed him immediately if he released a fucking meme coin. But no. Donald Trump has his meme coin, he has his NFT, he has his digital trading cards, he has his sneakers, he has his watches, he has Ivanka's Liberty necklace. What more could we ask for in the president? Am I right? As much as I love TikTok, okay, and I do, okay, I wouldn't have this YouTube channel if not for TikTok. As much as I think that TikTok should come back, out of just like principle, I don't want it to. Just out of the principle, Donald Trump, stand on something, because also if it does come back and if it comes back solely because of Donald Trump, I can't imagine what that algorithm is going to look like when we get it back. I can't imagine what it's going to look like when Kevin O'Leary owns it. I don't even want it anymore.